Today is an important day in the history of the Catholic Church. It was on this day in 1870 that the First Vatican Council decreed the doctrine of Papal Infallibility. Well, in the Catholic Church, the Pope is considered to be the successor of St. Peter, the rock upon whom Jesus Christ founded his church. Some were saying that the Pope doesn't really have any special authority. He's just a bishop of Rome. Others were saying that, no, the Pope does have special authority because he is the successor of St. Peter. So in order to settle this debate once and for all, the Council Fathers defined the dogma of papal infallibility, which means that when the Pope speaks ex cathedra, for example, it was in 1870 that the French painter Gustave Courbet died. He was known for his paintings of peasants in the land they inhabited. It was also in 1870 that the Franco-Prussian War began. This war would result in the conquest of France by the Germans. That is from the chair of St. Peter, and when he teaches a doctrine related to faith or morals, and when he intends to do so formally, he cannot err. In other words, he is protected from error by the Holy Spirit. This is because the Pope is the successor of St. Peter, who himself was protected from error by the promise of Christ, and so the Pope is considered to be the ultimate authority in matters of faith and morals. But this wasn't always the case. There were times in the early church when there were different opinions on what exactly constituted sound doctrine. And so the church fathers would meet together at what is called an ecumenical council to discuss and decide what was the correct teaching to be held on a particular issue. And then that decision was binding on all of the followers of Christ. Now, what does that mean? However, in 1870, when the First Vatican Council was being held, there was a lot of dissent among Catholics about the role of the Pope. That event is celebrated on August 15th. The Assumption of Mary was not defined as a dogma until 1950, so it was not yet a dogma in the year 1870. It also helps us to understand the role of the Pope in the Church, and it also reminds us that we are not to take lightly the words of the Pope when he speaks. This teaching, however, is not to be confused with the Assumption of Mary, which is the belief that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was taken up into heaven, body and soul, at the end of her earthly life. So why is this important? It's important because it settles once and for all the question of papal authority. In 1870, there were a number of other important events that took place, but for Catholics around the world, 1870 is remembered as the year of Vatican I, the council that defined the dogma of papal infallibility. If you liked this video, please subscribe.